Naruto, 10 anime characters Hinata would be friends with. Hinata Hyuga is the timid and kind former heiress of the Cold Hyuga clan. She could easily make friends if characters her age from other anime. Within the entire cast of the Naruto franchise, Hinata may very well be one of the kindest, most empathetic shinobi. She's one of the only characters shown to care about Naruto despite everyone's fear of him due to the Nine-Tails spirit. And she also doesn't allow the cold, segregated nature of her clan to affect her personality. It's only natural to assume that she's quite popular given her easy to get along with kind nature, but this isn't quite the case. It's actually more common for Hinata to be looked down upon for these traits, especially by her family. Aside from Naruto and her teammates, she doesn't start out with many friends, but this is remedied by just how many other anime characters would happily befriend her if they were given the chance. 10. Hinata Madoka, equally kind hearts similar self-esteem issues Puella Magi Madoka Magica. There's no end of similarities when it comes to Hinata and Madoka from Madoka Magica. Both of them care deeply for others but don't feel as if they have the personal strength or skills to contribute and pull their own weight. Underneath this low self-esteem, though, both of them are incredibly powerful and talented individuals. Both of them are kind and tend to lift up those around them. This means that they'll be a great match for talking each other through their doubts and anxieties, making each other stronger in the end. 9. Hinata Deku, the shared resolve to never give up, no matter what My Hero Academia. It wouldn't take much observing for Hinata to begin admiring Deku from My Hero Academia in a similar manner to how she takes inspiration from Naruto. The two have a similar mindset of never wanting to quit regardless of how strong their opponent is, and they yearn to prove themselves after being looked down on by their peers. Deku would help supply Hinata with some of the much-needed confidence to believe in herself. Meanwhile, Hinata would remind Deku not to neglect his own well-being and shut others out like he does later on in the series. 8. Hinata Shizune, undying devotion to the one most precious person Naruto. It's an incredible shame that Hinata and Shizune from Naruto aren't shown interacting, despite the fact that they're from the same source material. After all, they have some surprising similarities that would make them decent companions, despite Shizune being slightly older. Both of them are incredibly devoted to the single most important person in their lives, who they also look up to as a source of inspiration. Shizune's knowledge of how to craft and use poisons to immobilize her foes could also be useful to someone like the early series Hinata, who isn't the best physical fighter. 7. Hinata Winry, supporting and falling for their reckless childhood friend Fullmetal Alchemist. Hinata and Winry are quite similar, but they also have their differences where it matters. Both of them end up falling in love with a close childhood friend who they'll also do anything to support, even if it means putting themselves in danger. Their biggest difference lies in their respective levels of self-confidence. And this is where Winry from Fullmetal Alchemist becomes a strong support for Hinata. She has a strong, self-confident foundation that Hinata can very much benefit from. 6. Hinata Maka, courage in spite of fear soul leader. When it comes to supportive friends, Maka's one of the best options out there for someone like Hinata. Hinata is driven forward by strong examples from others. And Maka's story of turning her tragic family history into motivation going forward is one that Hinata would click with. Not only that, but these two would also be able to have open conversations about their feelings and worries. One of the biggest points of Maka's character throughout Soul Eater is that she's courageous in spite of her fear, so she understands insecurities and could help Hinata work through them. 5. Hinata Yuki, unable to function around their crush's vampire knight. Hinata and Yuki from Vampire Knight are two incredibly empathetic individuals who can also relate to one another when it comes to their goals and insecurities. Despite wanting desperately to help others as well as prove that they can be strong, they often find themselves on the losing side of conflicts or needing outside help. These two make a strong system of support for one another. And Hinata would help comfort Yuki, and the burdens of her mostly forgotten past come back to haunt her without question. The fact that both of them early on can't be around their crush without turning into a flustered mess is an added bonus. 4. Hinata Asuna, deriving strength from a place of hopelessness. Sword Art Online. When it comes to characters who can understand each other's motivations and help push each other to be better, Asuna from Sword Art Online pops into mind as a great fit for Hinata. Both of them admire, crush on and eventually end up with a talented and kind protagonist who helps inspire them. Hinata can also help counter the more serious side of Asuna that fans catch a glimpse of early on, who focuses too intensely on her goals and doesn't take any time for herself. She'd be able to remind Asuna that caring for herself and taking things just a bit slower from time to time is important, too. 3. Hinata Sakura, support from a place of understanding. Failure. Zombieland Saga. Sakura from Zombieland Saga would make an unexpectedly great friend to Hinata, as she understands having ambitions but feeling as if one isn't good enough to pursue them. She seems to cope fine after becoming a zombie, but goes through a bout of hopelessness after regaining the bitter memories of her past life. Hinata, in turn, can help Sakura stay positive and keep from doubting herself too much, as she'll always be there to support and believe in her. Hinata's caring nature would also make it so Sakura's condition as a zombie wouldn't be a deal-breaker, but it might scare her at first. 2. Hinata Tamaki, a host's job is to make every girl happy. Ouran High School Host Club. The friendship between Hinata and Tamaki seems like an unlikely one, but set in a high school alternate universe, this alliance begins to make sense. After all, though Tamaki can lack rational intelligence at times, he's inhumanly empathetic and seeks to ensure that every troubled girl leaves the club happier than when she came in. Hinata, especially in a high school setting, would struggle especially hard with her budding romantic feelings towards Naruto, conflicted with feeling as if she might not be enough for him. Tamaki would be able to support her through her romantic struggles and help her open up more. 1. Hinata Usagi, casting out the shadows of self-doubt with Moonlight Sailor Moon. When it comes to a motivator friend who also won't allow oneself to take life too seriously, there's hardly a better fitting candidate than Usagi. She has a natural gift for bringing people out of their shells, and making them feel more at ease with themselves. She's also shown to be able to socialize even with people who don't often do so. Like when she first meets Ami. Usagi would be able to show Hinata all her favorite local places to relax and have fun while helping her grow her budding self-confidence.